Good morning, children. Stay safely at home. So, I am starting the next topic of the electromagnetic induction chapter. That is the motion of a straight conductor in a uniform magnetic field. Alright. Now, here you see what we have taken. We have taken the magnetic field perpendicular to the whiteboard in the inward direction. That's why the magnetic field I have represented by cross. Okay, I hope it is clear. Magnetic field is, just look at this one. Suppose this is the arrow. It is in the inward direction, perpendicular to the whiteboard in the inward direction. Now we have taken a conductor whose length is L. Now let us consider the conductor is moving with a velocity V in this direction. Alright. Now you know within the conductor there are free electrons, isn't it? Now what will happen? These electrons along with the conductor will also move in this direction. So you see they will experience the Lorentz force, and you know what is the Lorentz force given by QVB sin theta. Alright. Now here Q is what? The charge of the electron. So E. Now look at it. V is in this direction. V is in this direction and B is in this direction. Okay, the scale is representing the direction of B and the pen is representing direction of V. So what is the angle between them? 90 degree. So and sine 90 degree is 1. So you see what is the magnitude of the magnetic force experienced by the electron? EVB. Alright, and if you apply the Fleming's left hand rule, then it will experience the force, electron will experience the force in the downward direction. Okay, so magnitude of Fm is EVB, and what is the direction of the force? In the downward direction. Alright, so you can say that all the electrons present within the conductor, they will experience the force in the downward direction. So what will happen? Electrons will come and they will accumulate at the lower end of the conductor. So you see what will happen if the electrons present here, they come to the lower end, then at the upper end there will be deficiency of electron. So you know deficiency of electron means that will be represented by plus sign. So you see what you are getting, the moment conductor will start moving in this particular direction in a magnetic field, then electrons will experience the force EVB and they will accumulate at the lower end, and there will be deficiency of electron at the upper end. So what will happen? Electric field will develop in this direction. Alright. So you see this E, I have given the arrow. You know what is the direction of the electric field? From positive to negative 1, isn't it? So you see electric field will develop in this direction. So now the electron, those who have not reached here, what will happen? They will experience a force which is given by small e into E. And you know electron, as they are negatively charged, they will experience the force in the upward direction. Yes or no? Opposite to the direction of the electric field. So initially only the magnetic force was there. Due to magnetic force, electron, when it will accumulate at the down part, then an electric field will develop. So the electron on the way, they will experience a electric force also EE. And look at the diagram, that electric force is acting in the upward direction, magnetic force is acting in the downward direction. And another point is there. You see, more and more electron will accumulate here, means this value of the electric field, it will increase with time, isn't it? So one time will come when Fm and Fe, these two will become equal. Then what will happen? No longer electrons will move in the downward direction. So you see Fm equal to Fe means what? EVB is equal to E into E. So you see E cancel. So what you can write, that V into B is equal to E, means the velocity of this one, velocity of the rod, it will become E by B. Okay, so and under this condition the electrons will no longer move from the upper end to the lower end. So this is known as the equilibrium condition. Now electric field developed at the equilibrium condition is given by V into B. So what will be the potential difference developed across the two ends of the conductor? You know, potential difference is given by electric field multiplied by the distance. So what is the distance here? The length L. So you can write the potential developed across the ends of the conductor. It is E into L, which is equal to VB into L. So this potential difference developed across the two ends of the conductor due to motion of the conductor in a uniform magnetic field is also known as motional EMF, and it is given by VBL. Very important topic. You must learn the derivation as well as the final formula for solving the numericals. Okay, so once again I am repeating, summarizing rather, what concept you have got. When a conductor moves in a magnetic field, then across the ends of the conductor an EMF or potential difference develops. That EMF is known as the motional EMF, and what is its value? It is given by V into B into L. V is the velocity of the conductor, B is the magnetic field where the conductor is moving, and L is the length of the conductor. So you must learn it, as I said already, very important topic of this chapter. Now the practical examples of this concept or this topic. Now here, regarding the motional EMF, you have to understand one point. That is a very important point. Now here you see, when we are considering the magnetic field in the inward direction, then you see the magnetic field lines also are in this direction. And you see when the conductor is moving like this, conductor was moving like this, yes or not? So you see the conductor is cutting the flux lines. These are the magnetic flux lines, magnetic field lines. So the conductor is cutting the magnetic field lines, isn't it? So when the conductor is moving like this, it is cutting the magnetic flux lines. As a result, motional EMF develop. But if you consider the conductor like this, conductor is moving like this, V and B, they are parallel to each other, then you see it is not at all cutting any flux line. In that case, motional EMF will not develop. Alright, so this is the very important concept regarding the motional EMF. Motional EMF will develop only when the conductor will cut some flux lines, cut some magnetic field lines. But if it is not cutting any magnetic field lines, then no motional EMF will develop. Now in practical example, what? When the wheels of a train, axles of the wheels of a train run, then it cuts the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic flux line. So what happens? At the end of the axle of the wheel of the running train, a potential difference will develop, and that is the motional EMF. Now consider the movement of an aeroplane. When the aeroplane is flying in certain vertical height, alright, then it will cut the vertical component of Earth's magnetic field. Okay, it will cut the magnetic field lines of the vertical component of Earth's magnetic field. So what will happen? EMF will be induced at the wings, at the two ends of the wings of the aeroplane. Then when the aeroplane is landing down, then if the wings are in the east-west direction, then it will cut the field lines of the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. As a result, at the end of the wings of the aeroplane, what will happen? Motional EMF will develop. But while landing down, if the aeroplane wings are in the north-south direction, then it is neither cutting the vertical component or the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. In that case, no motional EMF will be produced across the wings of the aeroplane. So these are the important points you are supposed to remember regarding the motional EMF associated with moving train and moving aeroplane. So instead of an aeroplane, if you take a straight conductor and if the straight conductor moves down in the east-west direction, then the conductor will also cut the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. As a result, what will happen? At the two ends of the conductor, what will happen? Motional EMF will develop. But if the conductor, while coming down, if it falls in the north-south direction, then what will happen? It will not cut any field lines of Earth's magnetic field. So, no motional EMF will develop. In the same manner, when a player runs in the east-west direction, then the body of the player cuts the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. So at the two ends between the head and the toes, a motional EMF will develop. But when the player will run in the north-south direction, then no motional EMF will develop, as the player's body is not at all cutting any field lines, any field lines component of Earth's magnetic field, because in this case we are not applying any external magnetic field, because we all are within the Earth's magnetic field. So these are the practical examples of the application of concept of motional EMF in our day-to-day lives. Now by applying the concept of motional EMF, we can prove the Faraday's law. Alright, what is Faraday's law? I hope you can remember. When the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit changes, then an EMF will be induced in the circuit, which is given by negative rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. Isn't it? E is equal to minus d phi dt. Can you remember? And minus sign indicates that it should oppose the cause. Now here, we have considered, you see, there is a U-shaped conductor. Alright, and on the U-shaped conductor there is a rod JK which can slide along over the conductor. Alright, and in this case, just like the previous one, for our convenience, we have considered the magnetic field. This crosses are representing the magnetic field, means magnetic field is in the perpendicularly inward direction, perpendicular to the plane of the whiteboard in the inward direction. Alright, now if you consider the conductor JK moving with the velocity V in this direction, okay, just now we have studied this. What will happen? The electron within the conductor JK, they will experience a force in the downward direction, which is given by EVB. Now, unlike the previous discussion, the electron will not come and accumulate here. What will happen to the electron? You see, after coming here, it will get the path to move out. So, you see, what will happen to the electron? They will move out and just move in this closed path. So that's why I have given the movement of the electron by this arrow. Electron will move in this direction. So what will happen? When the electron will move in this direction, it will give rise to a current in the conductor, this conductor. So what will be the direction of the current? Opposite to the direction of the electron. So you see, a current will start moving along JK in which direction? From this direction. You see, the current is in this direction. Electron is moving in this direction. So current will move in the opposite direction. So the moment current will start moving through the conductor JK, then you may consider the conductor is a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. So what will happen? A current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field experiences a force ILB sine theta. I hope you can remember what is the value of theta here. L and B, they are perpendicular, isn't it? I is in the upward direction, B is in the inward direction. So what is the angle between them? 90 degree. So what will be the force experienced by the conductor? ILB. And if you apply the left hand rule, then what will be the direction, right hand rule, what will be the direction of the force experienced by the conductor in this direction? It will be Fleming's left hand rule, because right hand rule is the generator rule, motor rule you have to apply here. So Fleming's left hand rule you will apply, then you will see the direction of the force is towards left. Now the conductor was moving with a velocity v in this direction, but due to the current in it, it will experience the force in this direction. So if you want the conductor should move in the same direction, then external force should be applied on the conductor. isn't it? An external force should be opposite and equal to the force experienced due to the magnetic field. So you can write the external force need to apply on the conductor, it should be minus F, and so if you substitute it will be minus ILB. Now if you consider under when the conductor is in motion, it is moving a del x distance in time delta t. Means initially it was at this position, then after time delta t it has come to this position, dotted position, moving a distance del x. Then you can write V is equal to del x by del t. So when force is applied on the conductor and it has undergone a displacement del x, it means certain amount of work is done. So what is the work done? Work done will be F external into delta x. So if you substitute F external, it is ILB into delta x. Now delta x you can write, you see, look at this relation, delta x is equal to V into delta t. So in place of delta x you can write V into delta t. Now you just rearrange the terms, BVL you write together, I and delta t you take together. Why I have taken it together? Because current into time represent the charge passing through the circuit, isn't it? So you say I delta t will be equal to Q. So what are you getting? Work done per unit charge. Work done per unit charge is minus BVL. So work done per unit charge is nothing but the EMF developed within the conductor that we have means learnt in the earlier chapters, isn't it? Work done per unit charge is known as the EMF. So here what will be the EMF induced? EMF induced is given by, so here I am writing that induced EMF is given by this relation, that E is equal to minus B into V into L. Now let us find out what is the change in magnetic flux linked with the circuit. Now how you can find out the change in magnetic flux linked with the circuit? It will be given by magnetic field into change in area. Okay, because magnetic field here it is perpendicular to this area, isn't it? So you see, you can write the change in magnetic flux delta phi b will be magnetic field into change in area. So look at the diagram. What is the change in area? Area of this portion. So this is delta x and this is L. So what is the change in area? Delta x into L. So what will be rate of change of magnetic flux? It will be B delta XL by delta T. Now delta x by delta T is how much? V. Delta x by delta T is how much? V, velocity. So in place of delta x by delta T you can write BVL. Now already we have got the EMF induced in the circuit is minus BVL, and now we have got BVL is equal to delta phi b delta T. So if I name it as equation 1 and as equation 2. So comparing 1 and 2, what you can write? That induced EMF is equal to minus delta phi b by delta T, which is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So this is the way one can prove Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. That's all for today. Thank you, girls.